Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a complete breakdown lesson to the iconic clean section to the song To Live Is To Die by Metallica off of the Injustice for All album. This specific part of the song may just be my favorite clean melody that the band Metallica has ever written. And that's saying a lot since I've been a huge Metallica fan since the age of 13. Now, in terms of understanding how to get through the song with me today, I'm going to have tab and chord charts for everything. But just having a really basic understanding of finger picking will go a long way. And even if you don't, even if you're a beginner, you can definitely get your way through the song because we're going to go step by step. And I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to memorize it really easily as well. Really, all we're going to need to do is reference an A minor, a G, an E minor, and an F chord. And there are no bar chords, so that's a plus for sure. And we're going to get right into it. All right, the very first mini section of the song, I like to break these tutorials into small parts for you guys. Easy for me to teach and easy for you guys to kind of follow along with. Will be based around an A minor chord. So what we're going to do first is we're going to make an A minor shape, but we're actually going to start with our first finger off. So you can imagine a normal A minor chord as you've learned it. Without the first finger, we're actually going to hammer that on in a second. And then what we're going to do is pluck the fifth string and the second string together, a together pick, you'll hear me say. And it's going to sound like this once we hammer on right after the together pick. Just like that. So again, there's a couple hammer-ons in this piece, but other than that, it's really just a lot of finger picking. So after the together pluck with the hammer-on, we're going to play the third string and the fourth string while still holding the A minor shape. So hammer on, third, four. Now at this point, we're still holding that A minor shape. We're halfway done with the first A minor go around. What we're going to do next is we are going to do a hammer-on pull-off combo with our first finger. Our first finger is going to do all the work. It's going to come off the A minor shape. And we're going to pluck the second string while doing a hammer-on pull-off. And then the third string, which we still have on the fretboard. The third finger and the middle finger have not yet moved. So the first finger is really doing all of the work in this first go around. Some hammer-ons and a pull-off, as you can tell. But the entirety of the first A minor part with tab, if you want to play along with me, sounds like this. Sounds really cool just from the jump. Now, the next part of the song is be based around a G chord or a G chord inversion because it's not a true G that we're holding down or that we need to hold down. But what we're going to do to make this shape is we're going to grab the third fret of the low string, which is G, our bass note, and we're going to grab that with our third finger. You can experiment with other fingers if you like. This is just kind of what rolls off nicely that I've found. And we're going to pluck the low string and the second string, which is open, together. Okay, so again, we're starting off A minor and now G with a together pluck. It's kind of an easy way to memorize kind of the direction we're going here. After that together pluck, we're going to take our middle finger or your first, whatever you're more comfortable with, and we're going to grab the second fret of the third string as a single note, then the bass note, which we're still on, then the third string, but we're going to remove our middle, and then the third fret low string bass note, which we're still on. So if I put that part together, it's going to be kind of a back and forth pattern after the together pluck to start off G. So it sounds like this. Again, that middle finger is kind of doing the work here just by fretting and then coming off, fretting, then coming off. If we put A minor and G together as we have it so far, it sounds like this. Now the next part is going to be based around your E minor chord, and we're actually going to make our E minor as we know it. No need to make any inversions of any sort. We're going to go ahead and place E minor on the fretboard. Whatever fingers you usually use is fine. I use my second and third here. And I'm going to pluck the open low, we have no frets on there yet, and the open third. And then I'm going to play the fourth string and fifth string, which we have 2 and 2 on right now. That's where our E minor shape is coming from. Followed by the open third again, and the open low. So together, fourth, fifth, open third, open low. Now if we put our first A minor together with G and then our newest E minor part, it's going to sound and look like this. Now, if at any point you're having some confusion or you need to just slow down the video or take a second to kind of break down some of the earlier chords because you're not quite done with those yet, that's encouraged. Definitely feel free to pause the video. I'll specifically put up chapters below so that you can find your place easily when you are ready to move on, and you can always return back to the video if need be. All right, we got another chord before we kind of restart with our chords as we know it. So our next chord inversion is going to be based around an F chord here. And this one's a little bit strange because we're not going to play F like a bar chord or F like our open chord. It's not going to be that sort of an F. We're going to grab the low first fret with our first finger. That's our F bass note. And we're going to do a hammer-on together pluck. Again, here's another hammer-on for us. And we're going to pluck the low string along with the open third string together. And our third finger is going to hammer on the second fret of that third string. Just like that. And again, this is just an inversion of F. We're not playing F as we know it, but it's coming from our F chord. So together with the hammer-on, open fourth, open fifth. So that part's pretty quick, but you'll definitely want to practice getting to that F shape and be ready to make that hammer-on pretty quickly, because that is a little bit tricky, is being able to get to that F, anchor that first finger down, make that hammer-on move in time so that there's no obviously break points or parts that are slowing you down. Up until that point, everything kind of flows once you have it. I find that people, when they practice this, the F is the part that gives them a little bit of trouble just kind of getting to it. But so far, I'll call this the halfway mark. So if you're up to this point, really good job. Again, if you have to pause, that's fine as well. But if you want to play along with me, I've got tab going for you. This is what the first half of the intro is going to sound and look like. Sounds really neat. And another thing to note is, again, I'm doing this on the acoustic guitar. It just sounds really cool. If all you have is an acoustic guitar or a classical guitar or even an electric guitar, James Hetfield plays it on the electric guitar. That's how it originally is done. I just think it sounds super great on the acoustic. Anything works. So again, just because I'm playing it on the acoustic, they're actually not doing that on the recording. But again, if you're matching with me today, that's great. If you have an electric guitar nearby and you want to match the band or the recording, that's the direction that you'll want to go. Also, really quick, if you haven't yet considered subscribing to the channel and you want to support the growing channel, I'll be coming out with weekly content every single week on guitar-related content, whether it's tutorial videos, whether it's gigging tips and advice, technique, music theory, all sorts of stuff. Again, if you want to support the channel, subscribing is going to be the best way to support us here, as well as to be notified with weekly content coming out. All right, we're at the halfway point. The next thing we got to do is jump back to A minor. It's a bit of a different way to do it this time, but you're going to kind of see a pattern of how things are going in terms of the chord progression order. All right, so for the second go around of A minor, we're going to go ahead and make A minor as we know it. We're not going to start with the first finger off like earlier. We're going to start with everything on the fretboard, and we're going to pluck the open fifth and the second string, followed by third, fourth, and from here we got to actually use our pinky to grab the third fret of the second string. So that can be a little bit tricky. You can decide for yourself if you want to keep the first finger on. It's not going to be in use once the pinky is on. Or you can take the first finger away and add the pinky. It's completely up to you. I've always been a fan of keeping everything down foundationally. If I'm able to kind of keep an open chord down because I'm so used to it and apply new notes to the top, I recommend doing that. That's kind of just what I do. But if it's easier for you to remove a finger to alleviate maybe pressure in your hand or your grip on the fretboard, feel free to do that as well. So the second way that we're going to be doing A minor sounds like this. So together, third string, fourth string, pinky. Just like that. Now, this is actually kind of a nice move that happens here. We're going to be going right to the next G part here. But since we anchored our pinky on the second string, third fret, we want to keep that down. Okay, we're going to keep that note down. We're going to then grab the third fret of the low string with our middle. So we kind of ditched everything that we just had, and we're going to grab the third fret of the low string. Our pinky's still on the third fret second string. We're going to pluck those both together. So I'm plucking the low string and the second string together, then just the low. Then I take the pinky away and I go second string open, third string open, fourth string open. So that part starting with the together with our pinky back on sounds like this. Again, using that G chord inversion, not a full G, but we're using parts of our open G chord. Okay, cool, we're almost done. We got 2 more chords left. We're gonna go ahead and jump to our E minors. Again, as you can tell, the order is staying very, very similar, an easy way to kind of help us memorize this in the long run. We're gonna jump to our E minor and we're gonna place it down just as we've had it before. So the entire E minor shape, and we're gonna pluck the low string and the 3rd string together. Those are both opens, 4th, 5th, 4th, open, 2nd. So again, a little bit different than the first way we played E minor, but we're just holding that chord shape and letting our finger picking do all of the work. So that E minor on its own sounds like this. All right, now once E minor is taken care of, we have 1 more chord left, but the transition is gonna be key because if you can get this down or understand it and practice it, it's gonna make a huge difference in terms of how easy this can be done. So after we play that E minor, which again, we're doing the open low and the open 3rd, 4th, 5th, 4th, 2nd string, right? We're not doing anything with the chord shape, just planting E minor. We're gonna keep the middle finger down, and we're gonna then with our 3rd finger grab the low 3rd fret of the low string, which is G again, our G bass note. We're ending on a G chord here for the last part. We're gonna pluck the low string as well as the open 3rd. Following this, we're gonna go 4th string, 5th string. Pinky is gonna grab the 3rd fret of the 2nd, and then the open 4th again. So that G just by itself is gonna go. And that eventually will allow us to start over completely from the beginning. Now, one thing that I wanna point out really briefly is that little ending right there, E minor to G, is a bit challenging to be able to get up to speed. So again, definitely practice that one as well. Just because again, that E minor that we just did, the second to last chord part, it's not too bad. But getting to G, stretching out our pinky with accuracy and then finger picking over the top up to speed, that can be a bit challenging. So again, make sure that you practice that one nice and slow. So if I put the last E minor and the last G to finish off this piece together, it sounds like this. So E minor. And as you can tell, once my pinky is planted, I'm keeping it down. I'm allowing everything to ring out. That's going to be the key for this part. Now, one thing to also practice is getting right back into it and repeating. So if you listen to the band perform this, they play it round and around. It's not just done one time. So once you complete G, that last part and you got it down, make sure you practice getting right back into A minor just from the beginning, like from the top, and practicing that transition as well, because that's easily forgettable too. I hope you guys liked today's video, and I will be coming out again with weekly content every single week. I do like to come out tutorial videos just like this. It's really videos weekly that just draw inspiration. And I know some people really like the theory videos that I come out with, as well as the tutorial lesson videos. And some people like the gigging tips and the solo acoustic stuff that I do. So I'll be coming out with stuff like that every single week moving forward. Just don't forget to subscribe if you want to support us and if you want to see more.